Welcome inside the Gridiron Now studios. I'm Amanda Borges here with Frank Frangie. There are lots of changes happening. Let's look at the coaching carousel as it relates to the SEC. Starting with Les Miles at LSU. Frank, what happened?
Boy, I tell you, what a mess that thing was. Here's what I think happened. I think LSU wanted to make a change, wanted to fire Les Miles and bring in Jimbo Fisher from Florida State. I think there was a conversation. I think Jimbo wasn't sure what he wanted to do. Once Jimbo pulled back, then I thought LSU said, whoa, we're not getting the guy we want, and everybody loves our coach. We look like idiots. I think Jimbo Fisher not wanting to go changed everything, and that's why I think Les Miles still has his job.
Well, since Les Miles is staying, what's the after effect for the Tigers?
You know what? It's for now, it's fine. Remember, he didn't get an extension. He just got to stay. How now can LSU recruit with all these opposing recruiters recruiting against them? A recruit's going to ask the LSU coaches, hey, how long is this going to happen? You sure it's not going to happen again next year? I think LSU officials have made it tougher than ever on Les Miles to continue to grow that program. Now, the one way to answer that is to have a gigantic year next year, win the whole thing, and then everybody's happy.
Well, let's take a look at Athens. Mark Richt is out at Georgia. Was that the right decision?
You know what? I like Mark Richt as much as any coach I've ever covered. He's a genuinely good man, And he brought Georgia to a great level, integrity and character. He's all about that, and he won a bunch of games, averaged 10 wins a year. But I understand Georgia's thinking on this. This wasn't we have an awful coach, let's run him out of town. I don't think that's how Georgia felt. I don't think that's how Greg McGarity felt. I think Greg's feeling was, look, it's been 15 years. We love Mark Richt. We'll create a job for him. He can work here forever. We never want him to leave. But let's let somebody else take a swing at it on the field. And Mark Richt will land on his feet, but I understand Georgia's thinking. I truly do.
So where does Richt go from here? Do you think he stays in coaching?
Yeah, I do think he coaches, Amanda. I think he goes about it wherever he wants. I'm told he's number one on the list at Maryland. I think he's number one on the list at Virginia. I can tell you Miami is very intrigued with Mark Richt. He's a graduate there. They are going to interview him. I think he can almost pick his job. I think Miami's the perfect fit. What school needs a guy with high character and a great image and integrity more than Miami, which is always regarded as the bad boy school? So I'd like to see him wind up at his alma mater. I think he will be a head coach in college football. I think he will pick his job. I'm not positive it'll happen this year. It might, but it'll happen in time.
Big question, Frank. Who's next at Georgia?
I think Kirby Smart. I think it's already done. I think Kirby Smart, the Alabama defensive coordinator, I think Greg McGarity probably knew that before he ever fired Mark Richt. He's a former player at Georgia. He's been the assistant coach of the year. He's a terrific defensive coordinator under the best coach in college football, Nick Saban. Kirby Smart is ready for this job. He's looked away. He's passed on jobs that weren't right as he waited for the perfect job. Georgia's his alma mater, great resources, great stadium, great fan base, great recruiting base. Kirby Smart will be the next coach at the University of Georgia, I'm sure of it.
Well, finally, South Carolina remains open. The rumors are that Will Muschamp could be heading to Columbia. Is there any truth to that, and would that make sense?
Sounds crazy, doesn't it? Will Muschamp going crazy on the sidelines and failed at Florida, and how could another school hire him? Doesn't make any sense. I think it makes every sense. Number one, I think Will's a pretty good football coach. He learned a lot as a first-time head coach at Florida, which you learn. He probably wasn't ready for that job, right? Probably wasn't ready. But I think he's a really good football coach. He's a terrific recruiter. He's a great defensive mind. I think if he gets the job, and I think there's a chance he will, I think he will keep G.A. Mangus. G.A. is the offensive coordinator. He's kind of a rising star now. Offense wasn't the problem there. They scored 32 points against Clemson. Only one other school got that many against Clemson. So South Carolina's pretty good offensively. Hire Will Muschamp. Keep G.A. Mangus to run the offense. And those two know each other. They're about the same age. They got a bunch of mutual friends. I think that's a pretty good move for South Carolina. I think that's where they may land.
We'll see what happens. For more on the SEC, check out gridironnow.com. We'll see you next time.